education grant. And they seem to think that I may have a chance with that, so that would be one place where I could get funding.
Okay.
Is there any liability associated with this?
Absolutely, and that's where it comes back to trust. That's the most important thing here. And that's the trust management, which would, I kind of wrestled with the idea of requiring background checks. I was actually originally just going to do references, but in talking to some mentors, I realized that, nobody ever gives a bad reference, and if a reference really doesn't want to talk, they'll just creatively say no thank you. So the best way to ensure that I'm sending good babysitters to good families is to do background checks, and hopefully I've never come up with anything, but yeah, that's one of the most important pieces of that for sure.
Just kind of, this is the same topic. How would you scale that trust model? It seems expensive and labor intensive.
Yes, so I thought about that a lot. I think that the background checks, the CPR and first aid certification, would be on the babysitters. So if they want to join the site and have access to the long list of Middlebury area families that they could work for, they would need to provide those things to me. They would be responsible for doing that. I also have a partner already in Middlebury, another student in my year. So the two of us would really be doing the in-person interviews and the training. And as I said, the endorsement from the leading local family website, MiddCORE, after speaking with Eliza Eaton, she was very interested, and so we have talked about a working partnership there. Yeah.
In your surveys, research, how many of the people you spoke to are using existing platforms, whether Wondersitter, City?
So I don't have the exact numbers on that, but I would say that very few of them are. Wondersitter is a huge site, and it's really, I think it's really cool. However, it's not in Middlebury because Middlebury is a small town, and that's what I'm really trying to market here, is that this is a small town type of business versus the larger sites like care.com or Sitter City, where you really don't know exactly who you're getting. It's a really large network. And so I'm trying to build the community aspect here.
So as you expand, will you be focusing on small cities?
Yeah, I think so. And I would expect that I would probably first move into other NESTACs, thinking probably smaller town NESTACs like Williams or Bowdoin, rather than something like Trinity, which is in more of a city area, and they might be more likely to use a larger network.
Do you know next door?
No.
Talk to you afterwards.
Great, thank you.
Have you looked into like the contractor economy issues where like these people, if you're doing the background checks and paying them, are there any issues where they may all of a sudden be considered employees versus contractors?
I haven't looked into that. I should. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking. Charlotte.
Hey, want to get ready at 6? Yes, sounds good. Can I borrow a dress? I tried to look at Violet's dresses, but she's been in town all day. Can't get into her room. Yeah, I have a few to try, but they might be a bit big on you. Okay. I'll come try them anyways. I have nothing to wear. Would wear that black one, but wore it last Saturday to the rugby formal. What about that pink one you lent to Emma? Oh, she still has it. I keep asking for it, but she hasn't given it back for 2 weeks.
My name is Charlotte, and I myself and my friends have had many conversations like the one you just heard. Many women at Middlebury have the issue of not having something to wear to the many formal events going on. From a survey of over 80 women, There were over 350 formal events attended last year. That's a ton. So being college students, we don't want to spend a lot of money on clothes, and college closets are pretty small. So what do we do when we want to borrow something? We text our friends, but it's hard to coordinate. The clothes just don't fit, there isn't enough selection, and friends don't always return something on time. So for the women of Middlebury, I present Middlebury, a peer-to-peer clothing rental service. Access more wardrobes for less cost, with less hassle and more fun. So let me show you how it works to rent out a dress. First, you list the item on the website by uploading a photo and setting the price. Then you can accept or deny the request to borrow it. You might want to deny the request if you want to wear this particular item on this weekend. And then drop off the item in the central location of the Proctor basement of our dining hall during the hours of 2 to 4 on Thursdays, where we'll be stationed before pickups happen. Then you get paid for your item and pick up your dress again at Proctor after we've dry cleaned it. Or alternatively, you can choose to leave your item in our inventory if you don't wear it that much. And then you can rate the borrower depending on how they treated your item. So now let me show you how it works if you want to rent something out from this website. First, you find an item. Then you can submit a request. And if your request is not accepted, then you can look for a different item to rent. If your request is accepted, then you can come again to the basement of Proctor to try it on between 4 to 7 on Thursdays. If you don't like the item you requested, then you can search the inventory that we'll have there. Then you enjoy wearing it, and then return the item again on Monday between 8 and 12. Finally, rate the item. So on Middlebury's webpage, you can search by many different options. You can search by the event to see what other people have worn to a similar occasion. Or you can also, of course, search by size. And later in the future, once we have more inventory, I plan to make it so that you can search by category like shirt or dress or shoes, and even by individuals. If there's a certain individual whose wardrobe you like a lot, you can just look at what they have to offer. So here's an example of what a listing on Middlebury may look like. There's the cost, the option to book an item, and the original price. And then you can also see information about the lender or the middleware. So after talking to a lot of students, I realized that the ability to be anonymous is extremely valued. Instead of creating a personal profile like the one you see here, which identifies the name and a photo of the user, I created the ability to also have an anonymous username and profile. Being anonymous both protects the user and takes away the stigma of asking someone that you don't know that well to borrow something. So now let's see the breakdown of the price of this dress. 55% of the cost goes to the owner, or $5 for the example of the dress that I just showed you. And then I talked to dry cleaners in Middlebury, and there's a bulk dry cleaning fee, which is super cheap. So for this item, $2.50. And then the remainder would go to Middlebury for upkeep expenses, such as printing flyers. There's no cost to maintain a website domain if it's through the Middlebury College website. And then, so as you've probably been wondering, what happens if you get a dress ruined? So if you ruin a dress, then you have to pay the original cost of the dress, which is $59 for the example that I just showed you. And if you just get a stain on it, then you just have to pay the individual dry cleaning fee of $12. So this low cost of $9 for one dress will allow clothes to be more affordable to more people. As many of you know, that dresses can cost upwards of $100 each. And if you're going to maybe even 5 events in 1 year, that can be $500. So Middlebury allows more clothes to be more accessible to more people. So how do I know that all of this will work? In my survey conducted on 82 Middlebury women, 76% said that they would use the service, and women said that they borrowed clothes for 50% of all events attended. Extrapolating these numbers to the entire female Middlebury population, that would be 5,500 possible instances of lending out a dress in 1 year. So yes, there's a market. And after getting started, I plan to expand to women's casual wear, men's dress wear, and costume wear. and maybe stock the most popular items in the inventory of Middlebury. So finally, here's my financial plan. After 1 year, the profit would be around $8,000 with not paying someone to staff the proctor area or the storefront, because I would run it for free until I worked out all the kinks. And then after adding men's dress wear, we would increase profit without having to dry clean items if it was just lending out shoes and ties. And then expanding profit again with women's casual wear and with costume wear. And then if I eventually staffed the area with 2 people, that would bring down the profit a bit. But as you can see, Middlebury is extremely financially viable with such a low cost to implement the service. So Middlebury allows students to borrow and lend clothes securely while making money, saving time, and also minimizing consumption. When I was talking about this idea a few weeks ago here, one of my friends told me that I should reach out to someone who had an idea similar to this at MiddCORE last year. I reached out to her, and we've been in touch, and I'm excited to work with her this summer to launch Middlebury. Thank you. Questions?
Have you thought at all about how you would scale this? You want to move it out beyond Middlebury?
I have not, and I think for now, this is just something that I would want to do within Middlebury. I think potentially it could, if the model worked, it could expand to other small schools, but for now, I think just tackling Middlebury is going to be a lot.
Will you be doing cash transactions or will pay?
No, so on the website, you will be able to pay through the website with your credit card information, so that when you come in to try on an item and pay for it, there's no transaction and hassle of handing over cash or using Venmo or a credit card in person. It's all taken care of through the website. And I would use an external source like PayPal, and I would also have a security deposit for to ensure that people will pay the fee of if they ruin a dress.
Did you talk to any commercial companies like Rent the Runway or such to find out what some of their early challenges were?
I tried to talk to them. I wasn't able to get in contact with anyone besides the customer support team. So I have not been able to yet, but that's definitely something I want to look into.
Might have missed it. Did you have startup costs in terms of website setup? And in terms of labor, I didn't see, maybe it was just too fast, but labor to support this, because you'll have to have people staffing.
Yeah, so for people staffing the event,
there it is. Okay, right.
this is the staff cost. Yeah, I went over it quickly. But so no one would staff it for the first year because I would staff it myself and I wouldn't take anything from it. And then I have spoken to my cousin who does website design and some students at Middlebury who are like computer science majors and said they'd be willing to like help out with getting the website up and running. So there could potentially be a cost there, but right now I don't see much of a cost there because I also have started creating a mock-up website.
You don't want to pay minimum wage?